Welcome to the Let's Feel Good podcast. I'm your host, Annie. After nearly a decade of asking, why don't I feel good? I ultimately discovered the answers through simple changes to my daily habits. I've spent years healing myself and investing in health and wellness companies tackling the chronic disease epidemic. Along the way, I realized something important. True health isn't built through cold plunges, IV drips, or $30 smoothies. It's the small, everyday choices that add up, shaping both how we feel today and our long-term health. Let's Feel Good is here to keep it simple, giving you practical tips and swaps that compound into a lifetime of vibrant health. Thanks for being here. Let's feel good together. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Let's Feel Good podcast. I'm your host, Annie, and today I want to officially introduce myself and share what inspired me to start Let's Feel Good and what this brand is really about. A little about me. I grew up just north of Boston and graduated from Cornell in 2019. I spent most of my career the past 6 years working in venture capital, focused on investing in early stage health and wellness companies. A lot of the companies and founders that I worked with were building solutions for our mental health and our chronic disease epidemic. It has been incredibly rewarding to work so closely with people trying to make the world a healthier place. But truthfully, my passion for health and wellness started long before my career did. It started in high school when I was a teenager, and I just didn't feel good. I was bloated, fatigued, anxious, moody, and I could never figure out why. I was healthy by all the typical standards, but I didn't feel like myself. In my mid-20s, everything came to a head. I ended up going off the birth control after 10 years of being on it, and my body completely crashed. My skin broke out, I gained weight, I didn't get a period, and I was told by multiple doctors that the only solution was to go back on the pill, take an antidepressant for my anxiety and moods, and just manage my stress. I went to my primary care physician for my anxiety and was offered an SSRI, my OBGYN for my missing period, and I was diagnosed with PCOS and was told just to go back on the pill, that there's no cure for PCOS, and if you have issues with fertility, we'll do IVF down the road, but go on the pill for now. I went to my dermatologist for my breakouts, my eczema, my dermatitis, and I was given steroids and antibiotics. I remember sitting in my dermatologist's office saying, is there any relation to my digestive issues, to my bloat, to my, hormonal chaos, my missing periods? Is this related to my skin? And they were like, no correlation at all, totally separate. To manage this, take a antibiotic or a steroid. I had psoriasis, which is autoimmune, making absolutely no correlation to these other symptoms that I had. It was very frustrating. I went to an endocrinologist for my inflammatory issues, for my fatigue, for my weight gain. And they offered me a medication for my thyroid, completely missing my autoimmune disease as well. They wrote off my labs slightly within range. I was at the absolute highest end of the range for the typical thyroid test, and they decided not to do further testing. And if they had done further testing, they would have caught my autoimmune disease, which went misdiagnosed for 10 years. None of this sat right with me. I did not want to take a host of medications to manage my symptoms. Obviously, that would not heal the root cause. It would just kind of cover up the symptoms and make my life more livable, or I would feel kind of better on the surface, but I would not be healing the root of these issues. So I decided to take my health into my own hands. I started working with functional medicine practitioners who helped me look at everything: my hormones, my gut, my thyroid, my stress, my environment, and even my thoughts. We did not focus on quick fixes or expensive supplements. We literally rebuilt my lifestyle from the ground up. I changed what I ate, how I shopped at the grocery store, how I ordered takeout, how I took my coffee, how I moved, how I rested, cleaned up the products in my home, switching to non-toxic skincare, personal care products, non-toxic home cleaning products. I learned how to manage my emotions and feel my feelings and sit in my body and learn the skills of emotional regulation and more of that somatic embodiment work, breath work, how to ground, how to journal, how to listen to my body and not always be in my mind trying to run faster and solve and do more, but actually really slow down and become embodied. And everything started to shift. I healed my gut, no more digestive issues. I killed SIBO with herbs. I had off the charts gut dysbiosis, totally balanced microbiome. I have really no digestive issues. I feel amazing. I balanced my hormones. I got my period back without going back on birth control, because also birth control is withdrawal bleeding. You don't get a real period on birth control. But I brought back my cycle, not going on the pill, not going on any medication. I have perfect 28-day cycles. They could not be more regular and healthy, which I'm so proud of. I totally put my PCOS into remission, which I was told was impossible, and it clearly is not. And more women need to know that. I reversed my autoimmune disease. I do not have an autoimmune disease anymore. In blood work, I had thyroid antibodies that were pretty elevated. I do not have any thyroid antibodies present on blood work anymore. So completely reversed and put that autoimmune disease into remission. I lost 30 pounds of excess weight and inflammation. I feel better, never get tired, which is incredible. It's like 3, 4 p.m. in the afternoon and I have boundless energy. I just feel amazing all the time. I cleared my skin, no more breakouts, no more eczema, no more psoriasis, no more dermatitis that was totally linked to my gut and my hormones. I regained my energy. I healed my anxiety by no medication, just changing the way I live. And for the first time in my life, I really, really, really feel good, calm, grounded, clear headed, and way more connected to myself, way more embodied. I sounds annoying because I think everyone's like, be an intuitive eater, but I really know how to, I've learned this skill and anyone can learn this of just tapping into your intuition. Am I hungry? Am I not hungry? What nutrients does my body need? Do I want to go out tonight or do I want to stay in? Do I need an extra hour of sleep or should I really go to that workout? Like learning how to tap into your gut and intuition and let your body guide you has been, I think, one of the most transformative skills in helping me heal in the way that I have. So I feel very in tune and kind of in rhythm with my own body and my own intuition, which has been amazing. And this transformation really inspired me to start Let's Feel Good. As I said, I have spent this past 6, 7 years in early stage venture capital, both working and investing in early stage startups in the health and wellness space. And then, I had my own healing journey. I ended up getting a certification in functional nutrition. I really dove in. I was investing at the ideation stage. So very early stage startups building in the health and wellness space. So I understood the space both from like a business perspective and understanding where there's white space, where there's opportunity, what kind of companies are being built, and then also all the research that goes along with diligencing those companies for investment opportunities, really understanding the state of our country's health, which is pretty scary. It's really scary. If you look look at the stats of the number of people that have chronic diseases, it's just off the charts. And I think one of the scariest things is that rates of chronic disease are astronomically increasing in young adults. And ironically, these are the same people spending all the money on health and wellness gadgets and pricey supplements and infrared saunas and $45 workout classes. So we really have a disconnect here. And the disconnect is that 90% plus of chronic disease is driven by our lifestyle. So cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart disease, those are products of our modern lifestyle. And what I realized is, 90% of chronic disease is lifestyle driven. It's the toxins in our environment, it's the toxins in our skincare products, in the candles that we burn in our home, in the cleaning products that we use to clean our houses. It is the highly, highly processed foods that we eat. It's the added sugar in our coffee. It is the pesticides on non-organic food. It's, the natural flavors and artificial flavors and synthetic lab-made ingredients that are creating a state of total inflammation and chaos within our bodies. It's our lack of movement, it's screen time, it's lack of social connection, it's isolation and loneliness. It is, the hustle culture of harder always being better, harder is not always better. But these are the factors that are funneling in to create these chronic diseases. The other really important piece is that nobody wakes up with a chronic disease overnight. It takes years to develop cancer, to develop heart disease, to have a heart attack, to become diabetic. If you get diagnosed with diabetes at 35, 40, it probably started when you were a teenager. And I had an epiphany of chronic disease when you're diagnosed. Our acute and reactive medical system just immediately goes to medication. A lot of these we can treat through lifestyle, but most importantly, we can prevent the onset of them through lifestyle. What's really important here, and this is based on my own experience, is that we actually have a warning sign that chronic disease might be coming, that we might be on the track to develop a chronic disease. And that warning sign is I just don't feel good. It is insomnia. It is painful periods. It is anxiety. It is bloat. It is weight gain. It is infertility. It is GI issues. It is skin breakouts. It is depression. It is energy crashes at 3 p.m. I just don't feel good is not normal. We are not supposed to feel kind of subpar all the time. And it is a biggest leading indicator that we are on track to a chronic disease later in life. And oftentimes, especially as women, when we go to our doctor complaining of anxiety, painful periods, PMS, fertility issues, breakouts, insomnia, waking up in the middle of the night, exhausted every afternoon, fatigue, energy crashes, we are often either normalized or medicated. But if we normalize or medicate these symptoms, then we're not addressing the underlying root cause. Now, if you take spirulactone for your skin, yeah, maybe your skin looks clear on the outside, but whatever is driving those breakouts is not being addressed. And it is the driver of our symptoms that is the indication of underlying dysfunction within our bodies, whether it's metabolic dysfunction, whether it's chronic inflammation. We aren't addressing the root cause. And when we don't address the root cause, we create a state of dysfunction in our body that goes on for a prolonged period of time and develops into a chronic disease. So the answer to I just don't feel good is getting to the root cause and changing our lifestyle so we can align with how we want to feel today and set ourselves up for a lifetime of vibrant health. As I said earlier, 90% of chronic disease, that is crazy, is lifestyle driven. Diabetes diagnosis, cancer diagnosis, Alzheimer's, dementia, heart disease, 90% is lifestyle driven. Well, I'd argue 100% of I just don't feel good is a product of our modern lifestyle. If you just don't feel good, you have to look at your environment, the foods that you're eating, how you're grocery shopping, how you're moving your body, who you're connecting with, the health of your relationships, the products in your home and the ones that you put on your skin, the environment that you're living. I think, as I mentioned earlier, there's a huge boom in the health and wellness industry. And interestingly, the biggest spenders are also the ones that are getting chronic diseases at an increasing rate. So what's the disconnect? It's that a lot of us are spending money on a bloat supplement or a $50 monthly probiotic or an infrared sauna session or a $50 workout or some crazy vanilla flavored elixir. Those don't move the needle. Those are like accessories to your health. They might make you look a little bit cuter, but they're really not going to do much unless you have a foundation. All of these trendy wellness gadgets and supplements and services, they might make you feel better a tiny bit if you have a foundation, but they will do nothing if you don't have a foundation. So please ditch the red light masks and the IV drips and the cold plunges and focus on what you do in a typical Tuesday. Because if it's something that you do on a daily basis, your daily routines, your daily eating habits, the way you move on a daily basis, your morning routine, your nighttime routine, the products you're using daily, that is what sets the foundation of your health. And anything that you would not do on a typical Tuesday is really not going to move the needle. And if you have a foundation and you are healthy and you are regulated and you are embodied and you are taking care of yourself, then yes, those fun little wellness splurges and gadgets and services and supplements might give you a little boost, but they're really going to do nothing if you don't have a foundation, and they're certainly not your foundation. So that is the disconnect that I realize is happening in the wellness world, is that spend is increasing like crazy, but we're spending on the wrong things. And why we're spending on the wrong things is because we're trying to outsource our health to a supplement, to a service, to a lymphatic drainage massage, to a dry brush, to some crazy elixir. There's a whole new class of healthier band-aids that are being created. But the real work, the real foundation of your health, 100% of how you feel today, and 90+% of the likelihood of developing a chronic disease is rooted in inherently unmonetizable habits and behaviors. It is how you grocery shop. It is choosing olive oil instead of a seed oil filled dressing. It is taking the stairs instead of the elevator. It is walking instead of scrolling. It's learning how to shop the perimeter of the grocery store. It's choosing to read before bed. It is filling your home with non-toxic personal care and cleaning products. It is filtering your air and water. It is having some form of mindfulness routine. It is learning how to build healthy relationships. The world of health and wellness has become incredibly commoditized and saturated, but that stuff, those pricey gadgets and supplements and gummies, are really going to do nothing. We have to build a foundation. And that is exactly why I started Let's Feel Good, is to help you build a foundation of health that makes you feel incredible today and sets you up for a lifetime of vibrant health. So what we have at Let's Feel Good are 3 core offerings. We write wellness guides that are released every Wednesday on Substack. And these guides are super tangible, super tactical. It is like a grocery shopping list for, supporting your hormones. It is telling you what the actually healthy products are at Trader Joe's. It is our favorite non-toxic skincare products that truly work under $30. It is our favorite home cleaning products that are not full of harsh chemicals and won't hurt your health. So it's super tactical, super tangible, and everything, as I said before, is within the constructs of a typical Tuesday. I'm never going to be chatting about some pricey wellness gadget, trend, or service. I'm going to help you reconstruct the way you live a typical life to be in alignment with how you want to feel. I also offer lifestyle alignment coaching, which is one-on-one coaching, and we work together to help you make the small tweaks, changes, swaps, and habits to your daily routines that get you unstuck and feeling your best. This work is amazing. I've been working with a woman for a few months now, and her health is like totally transformed. Her energy, she's lost weight, her skin is glowy, she feels amazing, her moods are higher, and we have not spent a dime on, wellness gadgets and products. We've literally just gone in to a typical day in the life and made these super small, personalized, sustainable swaps, tweaks, and changes. And it has shifted her out of feeling stuck into feeling incredible. So that lifestyle alignment coaching is one of my core offerings. And the third is the Let's Feel Good podcast, where you'll hear from experts, founders, and everyday people who are redefining what it means to feel good. I truly believe that helping people build a foundation is the key to feeling your best, but also setting yourself up for a lifetime of health. So it has worked for me. I have completely 180'd and transformed my health. I feel better than I ever have. And I'm really excited to share this message and this mission with you all because feeling good is so much simpler than we think. And when we feel good, we move into alignment in our lives and we live a healthier, happier, more incredible life, and it benefits the entire world. So I'm so excited to be here with you on this journey and have you follow along. Let's Feel Good. So thank you for being here. Email me at Annie@letsfeelgood.co. If you're interested in lifestyle alignment coaching, we can set up a call. Our podcast is on Apple Podcast and Spotify, also on Substack and YouTube. And then you can find all of our other information on Substack, including our wellness guides, our storefront, which is all a curated marketplace of all of our favorite non-toxic and better for you products. And yeah, we have an Instagram as well, which is full of podcast clips and healthier swaps. But thank you for being here, and I'm excited to feel good together. See you next time. Thanks for listening to Let's Feel Good. If today's episode helped you feel more clear, empowered, or inspired to take action on your health, I'd love if you'd subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend who's on their wellness journey too. You can find today's show notes, links, and extra resources over on Substack at letsfeelgood.substack.com. And follow along on Instagram at Let's Feel Good Club for more real-life wellness tips in between episodes. Because how you live determines how you feel, and we all deserve to feel amazing. See you next time.